Call committee of the whole meeting for the corporation of the town of Cobalt on March 5th, 2024 to order at 6:30 p.m. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. I have to declare a pecuniary interest on 6.2. Three, deputations, delegations, there are none. 4, adoption of meeting agenda. Draft motion. Be it resolved that council suspend the procedural bylaw to allow motions to be introduced under section 9 new business that are time sensitive and approve the agenda of the committee of the whole meeting dated March 5th, 2024 as presented. Need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Hunter, Councillor Wilcox. Any discussion on the agenda? Councillor Wilcox?
Yeah, there's a couple of items that I would like to see something done. The first relates to the fire truck loan. In the staff report, it mentions a term of 20 years. Are you going to be looking at having a discussion on that term? Otherwise, I would like to put in a motion that it be 15 years.
Yeah, we can have a discussion on it before we pass it.
Okay, so we can amend that then.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Secondly, I noticed we had a notice that the town of Cobalt was contemplating hiring another individual. I would like to propose a motion that we put on a hiring freeze until further notice.
This is okay, this is an intern position for the transition in the office. It's because we need somebody trained for the person who's leaving the office. So this is something we can put on the next agenda to discuss, but this is something that you should have actually contacted the office about beforehand to discuss with them.
Yes, well, it'd be nice if we got information in a timely way so one could do that.
This is day-to-day running of the office. It has nothing to do with council. Council sets policy and procedure.
Except that we are damn near broke. We haven't had.
Hey, Councillor Wilcox, point of order.
My apology for the swear word. We have not had any reports on the progress of the budget. We don't know where we're at, and you're looking at committing a significant sum of money.
And we can't reduce down to 2 people in the office. We still need 3 people in the office.
Well, that might be your opinion, but I think it's up to council to decide whether or not we can afford that money at this point in time.
He wants to put it on, does it get seconded? Maybe we have to see if anyone's even willing to second having it put on. Maybe it doesn't even get put on.
I'll second it.
I want to add it to 9 under new business.
So it will be
Discussion of intern position.
So it'll be 9.6.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
I would love to see a budget progress report. I understand we haven't had a meeting since December, I think. I don't know.
That's not going to happen at this meeting.
Mm-hmm. There is an update coming under the mayor's report for you on that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All in favor?
Yeah,
Any other discussion? This is to approve the agenda.
Okay.
All in favor? 5, staff reports. 5.1, Public Works, February 2024. 5.2, Bylaw Enforcement, February 2024. 5.3, Cobalt Public Library Minutes, January 27th, 2024. Draft motion. Be it resolved that council accept the staff reports as presented. Need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes, Councillor Anderson. Any discussion on the reports? Right, all in favor? Carried. 6, items for council consideration. Draft motion. Be it resolved that council review the items for council consideration as presented. Need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Cooper, Counselor Anderson. Discussion on 6.1, Cobalt Mining Museum donation request. Counselor Anderson.
These requests like this are due far earlier.
Mhm.
So therefore, they're gonna have to wait till next year, as far as I'm concerned. You know, we set up dates back 2 years ago or more, you know, for making progress so that things could be planned and we would be prepared to consider it within our budget negotiations. This has come far too late.
Anybody else? Counselor Wilcox.
I would suggest that we should reconsider it, or consider it rather, when we have the budget presented to us, and see if there's room there. I don't think it would serve anybody's interest to just simply say, come back next year. If they need some funds, they need funds. And the mining museum is central to keeping the record of Cobalt on the tracks.
Counselor Hunter.
Oh, I'll wait and see what Harry has to say.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I agree that we certainly don't want to let them, run out of money. If it comes down to an emergency, then we can maybe take care of it quicker. But definitely, let's see what's happening in the budget. Maybe we can pencil something in for them there.
Counselor Hunter.
I guess I feel sensitive about things that we share with Coleman, and I don't want to have a rivalry, but I noticed that Coleman's contribution is $2,000 and ours is $10,000, and our tax base is so much less than theirs. I'd like to see them contributing more to things that are equally important to us, since most of the cobalt mining camp is in fact in Cobalt. So I guess that at the very least, I think we should try to match Coleman's contribution. I think that would be fair. Maybe that would encourage them to up a contribution.
And I kind of agree with Counselor Anderson. We have a procedure for applying for assistance. There was a deadline. The deadline was missed for this year for budget deliberations. We have a fire truck that we're purchasing that is an essential part of our infrastructure. I believe our mining history is important to Cobalt. However, not many other municipalities support museums. They have to be self-sustaining. And I fully believe that they should be self-sustaining. And if we're going to quibble over hiring an intern because we're worried about budget room, do we really have room in the budget for a museum? Food for thought. Okay, and I will excuse myself.
Sorry. Well, sorry. 6.2.
Yeah.
Okay. 6.2 is the staff report in the Classic Theater about the marquee. I'd like to invite any discussion on this. Yes, sir.
I'd like to see us come up with cheaper options and, what are we at, about $38,000 to fix the front of that building? And not do like a soffit underneath and, maybe cap it in aluminum or something and just put Classic Theater in across the end of without having that great big roof sticking out again. Probably reduce that by 50%.
But Harry, there are two, Councilor Cooper, there are two options here. One's
Yeah.
29,000.
Yeah, but that's still,
Yeah, I know it's pricey, but still,
especially when we only budgeted 20,000 last year.
we don't know what our budget's.
And our budget is,
We don't know what we're doing.
I would like to see us look at this building in its entirety and not just in little pieces. And I realize it says, we've got some money from the gas tax, but it's an opportunity cost. We have many ways that same money could be spent. This is the front facade, there's the roof, There's supposedly even now the foundation. Like there are so many different ways I think we need to look at this building as a whole and really think about what's being spent on it. I kind of wish Mayor Anderson was here, but I want to bring up the fact that it's mentioned that, oh, well, the classic theater can't do anything because they're just tenants, but they can. Every group can do something, including the museum, including the library, including the firefighters. I'm not saying any of them has to, but when you bring the community together for a fundraiser, even if it only earns at that $100, if you've got 100 people there, it's created community support. It's brought the community together. It shows council that 100 people in the community care, and then it allows us to say, maybe we should contribute more of our budget toward that. But when we're not bringing the community together in fundraisers, we don't see what people are willing to contribute to and come out to. We don't know how important it is to them. And then we're forcing taxpayers to pay for it in a lump sum, and they don't know how their money's being spent. So they don't see, oh, I gave $50 towards the classic theater. Whereas if they'd come to an activity, spaghetti dinner or something, and they're like, I choose to give this money to the classic theater because it's important to me, it's the same pocket that it's coming out of. But it's showing community support. It's the opportunity for the community to rally together for something positive and not just a cold, here's your tax bill, come and pay it, or we're going to take your house away. So I just think that there has to be a friendlier way for us to work together to show that we support these organizations, or it's just going to go on your tax bill and we won't even know if you care about it, because I called different people and I've talked to different people about all these groups. And I know that they're essential services, and of course everyone cares that they don't want their house burnt down. But there are some groups that are less important, and people that say, I've gone to the library, I don't see anyone else there. Why do they have a $100,000 a year budget? So let's show community support through having community activities. That's.
Councillor Wilcox, got any?
First of all, I'd like to say I concur very much with what Councillor Hunter has just said. Well done, thank you very much. I think that was an important message. I especially appreciated the comments from Harry and Angela that we do have a lot of money to be spent yet on a theater, and 30,000 or 39,000 for a marquee outside, which is not an elemental part of the theater. We do have foundations, we got a roof, we got a lot of important things that have to be done in there. And I would like to see us concentrate on those and maybe just put up a nice looking facade of some sort over the scar on the front of the building for now. We can go back, we can revisit it, but let's get our chickens in a row and pay attention to the important things.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we've got quite a consensus here, because my attitude is if they want a fancy marquee in the front, then they should be paying for it. A simpler sign, it may not look as beautiful, but that's the way things were put up back in the early days too. So it would meld in better historically, but when it comes to extras especially, let the group raise the money for it themselves. And by all means, we've got to take a good look at everything that's got to be done in there to make sure that the building is safe and secure in the end, so it goes on for a long time, but not to totally go overboard on anything.
Shows inside, not outside.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well said. Okay.
Your Worship,
Yes.
I spoke with the theater chair actually last week about this. They were hoping for having a proper marquee on it. They were throwing some options together. One thing is, I would possibly, an option would be to ask the theater chair to come forward and speak to council.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a waste of time.
Tell us how they're going to earn the money for it.
ask another while we're on that topic. If gas tax money, can that also be used for the foundation and the roof?
I'd have to check for the foundation itself, but definitely not the roof, because that is an insurance.
Yes, okay. But no, especially, it's the foundation that bothers me. That's gonna be expensive. If you don't do the foundation, there's no point in doing the roof, you know. It's just-
Because therein lies the problem with the fire museums, are
Exactly.
part of the problem. Everyone okay?
Mhm.
So your worship direction from council is?
No.
That was concise, I like that.
Cheaper options.
Yeah, cheaper options, let them come up with the
More
option
historical.
and look at paying for stuff like that. Yeah, okay. Then I can turn it back over to Mary Ann?
Go get her.
Sure.
If we kept you here, the meeting would be over in 5 minutes. It's warm in here tonight.
Oh, he's taking a break, so you can go get her.
She's in our corner.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah. Wait until he comes back, yeah. Okay, yes. I didn't read down the next line. It says both. As soon as Councillor Wilcox comes back, we'll take our vote. Are we voting on each one separately or?
Just for consideration.
Okay. Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Certainly.
Doug will beat her back.
Are you guys all feeling warm?
It is. I
think
We should get Steve to turn the heat down too. It's just right to me.
Gary started the bill
Oh, it sounds like something's falling.
downstairs. Oh, that's the downstairs?
It's-
Waiting for Councillor Wilcox to come back. And then you vote? You can take the
Was there a vote?
vote because it's two different things.
Sure.
I don't think I can.
Oh, okay. Just have a seat.
What do you want to vote? It's just accepting it?
Oh, okay, so all we're gonna do is do the vote.
Don't we have quorum without it?
Yeah.
Can we just vote? It's gonna be.
should have some like on hold music.
You can sing.
Check on. Everyone just move your mouths without making noise. They'll think they're having some technical difficulty.
Check and see if you read.
Still alive. Any reason why we can't carry on without it?
Oh,
Sure,
yeah,
if you want
I'm
to.
fine, yeah. Okay. Be it resolved that council review the items for council consideration as presented, and we've had our mover and seconder. All in favor? There we go, okay.
Thank you.
And we're waiting for council Wilcox to read here.
We'll carry on while we're waiting. Items for 7, items for council information, 7.1. Aqua 2023 Annual Summary Report for the Cobalt Drinking Water System. Draft motion, be it resolved that council accept the items for council information as presented. Need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Starchuk, Councillor Hughes. Any discussion? Councillor Starchuk?
It's not, it's just a comment. I like the conclusion. It's, they're delivering a high quality drinking water to its users. That's the most important thing. That's right there.
And all in favor? Carried. 8, unfinished business. There is none. 9, new business. 9.1, OPP Detachment Board request from Temagami. There's a staff report attached, 2024-03-05-02. Draft motion, whereas the Ministry of the Solicitor General has been working since March 2021 to develop and finalize the detachment board compositions for the Ontario Provincial Police. And whereas the Temiskaming Detachment of the Ontario Provincial Police serves 19 municipalities and 1 First Nation. And whereas a proposal was submitted to the Ministry of the Solicitor General by the City of Temiskaming Shores on behalf of the communities served by the Temiskaming Detachment to establish 3 detachment boards. And whereas the Ministry of the Solicitor General approved the Temiskaming Detachment Board's framework on July 19, 2023. And whereas the Ministry of the Solicitor General announced that the Community Safety and Policing Act 2019 will come into force in effect on April 1st, 2024. And whereas the ministry posted the draft regulations setting out the OPP Detachment Board composition and other related matters on the Ontario Regulatory Registry for public review and feedback on January 30th, 2024. And whereas the municipality of Temagami has reconsidered their prior support of the three-board governance structure for the Temiskaming detachment and adopted resolution number 24-043 on February 1st, 2024, requesting the Ministry of the Solicitor General to amend the draft regulation in order to maintain the Temagami Police Services Board as a standalone board. And whereas the Ministry of the Solicitor General has indicated that unanimous consent of all municipalities identified in the Board 3 for the Temiskaming detachment would be required in order to amend the regulation. Now therefore be it resolved that the council for the corporation of the town of Cobalt hereby confirms the previous position that a three-board structure for the Temiskaming detachment of the Ontario Provincial Police is the preferred choice for the town of Cobalt. And further that council respectfully declines to support the municipality of Temagami's request to the Ministry of the Solicitor General. Need a mover and a seconder? Councillor Cooper and Councillor Anderson. Discussion? Councillor Wilcox?
I would really like to know why Temagami has made this request.
Yeah.
I understand what everybody's saying, but there must be a reason, and that's not been included. So until I find out why, if it has something to do with the native band or if it has something to do with something else, I don't know. But I would like to know before we vote on that.
Councillor Anderson?
This has been in process for 2-3 years. You know, they haven't come in and discussed it at all or asked for any exemption or anything like that. So I think they're, you know, well out of time. This is too far through to start rebuilding it all again.
Yes. Okay, all in favor? Gary? 9.2, Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Council Training, draft motion, be it resolved that council directs staff to invite municipalities municipal advisor from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing to a special meeting on Tuesday, March 26, 2024, to provide financial information return FIR training. Need a mover and a seconder? Councillor Wilcox, Councillor Anderson, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Carried. 9.3, 2023 council remuneration and expenses. Draft motion, be it resolved that the annual statement of 2023 remuneration and expenses for council members be submitted to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs. Do I need to read all these? Mayor Adsaid Angela, $6,217.57, no expenses. Total $6,217.57. Mayor Gibson Maida, $3,533.92. No expenses. Total $3,533.92. Councillor Anderson Patricia, $6,597. No expenses. $6,500.97. Councillor Cooper Harry, $6,500.97. No expenses. Total $6,500.97. Councillor Hughes Gary, $6,500.97. Expenses, there were none. Total $6,500.97. Councillor Hunter Angela, $6,500.97. Zero expenses, $6,500.97 total. Councillor Starchuk Jim, $6,500.97. Zero expenses for a total of $6,500.97. Councillor Wilcox Douglas, $6,500.97, 0 expenses, for a total of $6,500.97. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Hughes, Counselor Cooper, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Carried. By 9.4, bylaw 2024-09, to enable the use of site plan control. There's a staff report attached, 2024-03-05-03. Draft motion, whereas at the regular meeting of council on January 23rd, 2024, adopted an official plan pursuant to Section 17 of the Planning Act. And whereas Section 41 of the Planning Act provides in part that where in an official plan an area is shown or described as a proposed site plan control area, the council of the local municipality in which the proposed area is situated may, by bylaw, designate the whole or any part of such area as a site plan control area, and may delegate to an appointed officer of the municipality any of the council's power or authority under that section. And whereas clause 5(2)(b) of the building code authorizes the council of the municipality to pass bylaws requiring applications for building construction permits to be accompanied by such plan, specifications, documents, and other information as prescribed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that bylaw number 2024-09, being a bylaw to enable the use of site plan control, be taken as read a first, second, and third time this 5th day of March 2024, and further that the said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. Need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Anderson, Councillor Starchuk, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Carried. 9.5, bylaw 2024-10 to authorize the submission of an application to the Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Corporation, OILC, for the financing of the fire truck. 2024 Rosenbauer stock pumper, number 18955, in the amount of $605,500. There's a staff report attached, 2024-03-05-04. Draft motion, whereas at the regular council meeting on February 20th, 2024, council directed staff to proceed with the purchase of a fire truck as per the specifications provided from the fire chief. Now therefore be it resolved that bylaw number 2024-10, being a bylaw to authorize the submission of an application to the Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Corporation for financing of certain ongoing capital work of the corporation of the town of Cobalt, to authorize temporary borrowing from OILC expenditures in connection with such capital work, and to authorize long-term borrowing for such capital work through the issue of debentures to OILC. Be taken as read a first, second, and third time this 5th day of March 2024, and further that the said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. Need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Cooper, Councillor Anderson, discussion. Councillor Cooper.
I'd like to see this term of 20 years be changed to 15, because in 15 years, we're going to have to probably buy another truck, because our secondary truck right now is 30 years old. So if we have to buy another truck, then we'd have a 5-year overlap in those payments. We'd have 2 trucks on payments at one time. So if we change that to 15, the one would end, we'd just be reserving ourselves to the fact that we just carry on with the payment going forward, buying another truck.
Anybody else? Councillor Wilcox?
We'd just like to note from the information our town manager sent to us, The costs involved in going from a 15-year to a 20-year term are significant. It adds another $96,000 to the cost of the fire truck. We're looking, basically payments for a 15-year are about $56,402 a year. For a 20-year, you're looking at $47,151. So there's a difference of about $9,000 per annum against, going out that extra 5 years and paying another $96,000 for the fire truck. It doesn't make sense to me. And Harry's point, I think, is quite right too. My crystal ball for 15 or 20 years out is really dim right now. I don't know, but I suspect the fire insurance people will go as the numbers dictate them to go. And we may well end up having to buy other equipment. And we don't want to be in a position where we're paying two loans.
Councillor Sarchuk?
I'm just wondering why it was decided, or saying 20 years, is that, was there no option to go 15 years? Is there only one option? Is that what?
We can go 10, 15, 20, whatever we like.
Yeah, okay, I just wondered if there was a stipulation with these people here. Mentioned.
I'm just doing some quick math here.
May I say something?
Councillor Hughes?
Was there not an email or something sent out for a 10-year? Which was 72,000 a year or something we were paying, 2 annual payments, 737. Did I read that email wrong? Was that fire truck?
Have to double check that.
No, I got it a couple of days ago.
We were sent a 10-year option.
10-year option, yeah. Okay.
15 and a 20 years.
Okay. I thought I read that as a 10-year for 2 payments of 37, something like that a year, I think. So 70.
Yeah, 75,714.
I did see that, okay.
Your worship. I was speaking, actually I had a meeting with Infrastructure Ontario yesterday. They have requested to see our 2022 audit. And right now they're looking at our 2023 budget, as well as, because our 2023 actuals are still being audited at this time, they are reviewing all of our financials to see what we can afford.
Okay. It's in their hands for now.
They usually, for a vehicle or anything, it's the duration of the vehicle.
Councillor?
Thank you. I do have a question because I believe that we had $10,000 from the fire department. Is that going to be contributed towards this still?
Yeah, I thought it wasn't.
We have 10,000 in our bank account now from the fire department, but they would also be supplying a check for 10,000 for a total of 20.
Does that change the financing at all if we
Well,
put
it
that
would
as a
be
down
a-
payment?
Worship, it would be applied against the loan.
But I do support Councillor Cooper and Councillor Wilcox. Maybe not, I don't disagree with them, but I was just also thinking that if we finished 5 years early, if we don't buy another truck, we've got 5 years to kind of put in advance and save or budget for. I don't like to see a loan go the full term, then you're just like infinitely stuck in a loan and interest situation. If we could get ahead of it.
Councillor Hughes?
From what I read, it looks like we'll be done with the loader payment and the shop payment as well by then. That should help later in 15 years or so. I think we got the shop payment for 15 or 16 more years, and then
39.
17 years. 16.
Councillor Anderson?
It seems to me, initially, it's up to Infrastructure Ontario, looking at it to say what they want and how they're willing to loan it to, because they're the people with money they're going to loan it to. It's just like us going to the bank and saying, I want a new car. And they're going to look at your finances and say, excuse me, but you can't afford a new car, So it's the same type of scenario. We've got to go with what Infrastructure Ontario says and hopefully have some sort of guarantee in there that when we pay off these others, that we can increase our payments and get rid of it earlier. Get rid of the payments for the fire truck earlier. If we actually have the extra money to do it then, and there's not something else that comes up that's needed.
I actually have a question on, is this an open-end loan? Can you pay more than the scheduled payment amount?
Your worship, I would have to just double check with Infrastructure Ontario.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I guess,
Worship.
Councillor Wilcox?
Just wanted to add, Pat had mentioned other things that might come up, but we are looking at a whole lot of things like the sidewalk cleaner,
That's
probably
why I
at least
said
one or
that.
2 bucks
Yep.
for public works, a half ton for public works. We've got a number of buildings tear downs. We have no end of things we can spend money on.
Yep.
I think we have to be very careful about how much we spend and husband it dearly.
Okay, I guess I just want to make council aware that if we do decrease it to a 15-year from a 20-year, it's that much out of each year's operating budget that we have to spend on other things as well. So all those wonderful things that were just mentioned may have to wait a little bit longer.
But I do like Councillor Wilcox's point that it's 100,000 in extra interest payments, so that's 100,000 we would have later on to spend.
This is also going to increase the semi-annual payment, which is going to increase the pain to the ratepayers.
Mhm. Oh.
Your worship, it's council's directions to contact Infrastructure Ontario and just see if we are eligible for 15-year compared to a 20.
Or 18, do they have that, like, what's the shortest reasonable?
With what I've seen, it was increments of 5.
Mhm.
See what they
My
say. I guess.
concern, your worship, is the cost per year now. That's with the budget now, because we'd be adding so much money onto it.
Yeah, it's $47,000 right now that we're taking out of the current budget to do this for the next 20 years, so.
Cheaper than everybody paying out to the insurance companies, so. Municipality's gonna have to eat it.
Well, it's not the municipality that's gonna have to eat it, it's the ratepayer that's gonna have to eat it.
Taxpayers are the municipality.
Okay. Okay, so is direction from council to reach out to OILC and see if we're eligible for a 15-year?
See what the shortest term is, yes.
Mhm.
We can lengthen it from there.
Just to be aware that this causes a delay with the financing for the truck as well. Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Carried. 10, closed meeting, there is none. Oh,
There was another draft motion.
oh yes, sorry. Forgot to write that on there. 9.6, draft motion. Be it resolved, hiring freeze for office staff vacancy. Need a mover and a seconder. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I have a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Wilcox, seconded by Councillor Cooper.
I did not say office staff specifically, I said staff. That would include public works as well as the office.
Okay, hiring freeze for staff. It's been crossed out and initialed. Okay, so discussion? Councillor Cooper?
I think we have to watch every penny we spend. What's this intern gonna cost us? Just the intern, like, if we hire an intern, is it gonna be 100% funded by somebody else?
Well, it would be 50% of it, but we have to go by what the collective agreement says for that role.
50% of the money we don't have.
Councillor Sarchuk?
We need to wait until see what the budget is, like what kind of money we have left, if there is any left over to work with, right? We can't really make these decisions.
No, exactly. We're 136,000 pulled out of the reserves last year. Do you think it's gonna get better this year?
I like to know more solid numbers too, as well.
So we freeze it for now.
Councillor Hunter.
I feel like the work has to get done, so if we're freezing it and we have one less person to do work in the office, like, is one of the works guys gonna come over and help out to balance out the workload, or like, the work needs to get done? That's why we have hired that number of staff.
Councillor Hughes.
The good news with that is that we're going to once a month meetings, so that does alleviate a little bit of the workload in the office.
Councillor Anderson.
Yeah, it's very nice to see workloads being relieved a little bit, but when we will be replacing a staff member, that new person that comes in has to be trained. And that's why you do an internship. So we're training them at 50% cost to make sure that when one staff member leaves, that person is able to move in and take over fully and do the job accurately, because it's not like years and years ago. There's so many little intricacies of the job. There's so much computer. There's so many different reports that have to go 6 ways to Sunday to every part of the government. It's not something that you can have mistakes in and fall over because you just brought a person in the office and said, your job is this, go do it. Because we know you always have to be trained for a job. Look at how long it took you to pick up on everything on council and learn how things work and all the stuff you had to read in order to, and gradually, you've become good counselors. But that didn't happen overnight, and it certainly wouldn't happen in the office. And with what has to go into the government and everywhere else, there's no, oh, she's new. There's no excuses. It's like we need the intern.
And I'd also like to point out that council already gave direction about this in a closed session prior to this coming up. This is not new.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was direction given in the closed session. We were just told what was going on, that was it.
Receiving direction to contact in a way, change.
Do we have to amend the agenda to put a closed session in this meeting?
But we would have had to do that at the beginning.
Okay, well,
I have a motion right now, right?
Putting a hiring freeze, services will definitely suffer immediately on that. And we do know what position is available, and if we do not fill that position and keep it as is, services will definitely suffer. And
Councillor.
for this is for council consideration, is to get a staff report and have a look at other items before making any decisions.
Councillor Cooper.
Why don't we set up a special meeting for a closed session?
Councillor Hughes.
Maybe we could, maybe we'd understand more too if we had maybe more of a job description of what we're replacing and what we're hiring for. Like what.
Okay, we can't do that in,
Closed or whatever. Just give us an idea maybe that we know what we're hiring, what we're filling.
okay, and I'm
If
gonna,
it's necessary, because I was under the understanding that that job was created just 5 years ago or so. And maybe we won't need to fill it now.
and you're mistaken about that, but anyway.
That's why I would like some more information.
Okay. I guess we can call a special meeting, but as a council, we have to quit making decisions and then backing up on our decisions. This is wasting time,
It is also a big financial thing too.
but we have no problem approving a fire truck
Well, that's
for
changed.
100, and
Now
that's deemed essential, but losing a staff
Now that
member
we
is
have,
not essential? Let me finish what I'm saying, please. Then you can have your say. You know, priorities are priorities here. Because Councillor Hunter is correct. What's going to happen? Is somebody going to come in from Public Works into the office to do the job?
Shovel when there's a big storm from the office?
Can't hire the shoveler next year.
It's a union, right?
I think the reason maybe we're dragging our feet a little bit on this is because of the new $600,000 fire truck that we just went with.
And this is something that was discussed before the fire truck even came to
I know.
council.
And then now the fire truck's kind of usurped it.
That's fine. We'll set a special meeting for a closed.
Just hearing this, and of course staff will hear this, it will impact morale.
Actually, well,
Hugely.
Just want council to be aware of that.
I'd like to set a special meeting for Thursday. This is something that can't wait. It's got to be done. 6:30 p.m. Closed session, special meeting. Yep. Okay, so we are going to defer this to the special closed meeting. Pen doesn't even want to write anymore. Okay. 10, closed meeting, there is none. 11, business arising from a closed meeting, there is none. 12, adjournment, draft motion. Be it resolved that the committee of the whole meeting of council be adjourned at 7:22 p.m. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Cooper, Councillor Anderson, all in favor? Carried.